Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it is all about the monster. We are a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska.
And I'm your other host, Khalid Hussein.
How's it going, Khalid?
Oh, I'm groovy, Joe. How are you?
I'm also groovy. I'm gonna go with groovy today too.
Oh yeah, you'll have what I'm having.
Yeah. And Khalid, guess what? We got a special guest today.
We do.
Yeah, we do. Oh, excuse me, I'm a little cough. That was rough. It's okay. We do.
This is all a part of the pre-planned banter for those of you listening at home.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Joining us today is Aliza Pearl, an actor, improviser, and content creator, and director of the new improv show on Twitch, Slay. Welcome, Aliza.
Hey, thank you so much. You guys, I just put it in the chat. You're adorable.
Aw,
that's exactly what we're aiming for. That reaction every time. So thank you.
It is.
It's just so wholesome. It's just so sweet. Thank you for that. That intro was wonderful.
Love it. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. I looked a little bit into some of the stuff you've done before, and I think that your interests align heavily with ours. And so I'm kind of excited to ask you like our regular guest questions, because I think you can have some fun answers. So are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. So our big question that we always ask, just because we're a creature feature podcast, is any corner of pop culture, movies, books, TV shows, anything, what video games, even, what's your favorite monster? And if it's not the same, what would you maybe consider the scariest?
Okay. I have a couple of answers and of course they are favorites for different reasons. I think there's like a top 3 for me that were kind of formative. The first one, just for sheer scariness, and because I was very, very young when I saw it, was The Blob. Do y'all know what The Blob is?
I've not heard of that one.
The 50s or the 80s one?
The 80s.
Okay.
It was, I haven't watched it probably since I was a child, but it was just this pulp B horror movie, sci-fi horror movie about a blob. It was like this red gelatinous goo thing that would eat people. And it just was really scary to me at the time. I'm sure if I watched it now, it would just be very funny and silly. But as a kid, I was just like, oh my God, this is terrifying. So I have very just strong early memories of that and the fear it instilled in me, but also like the fascination, I think that's what it is about monsters, right? It's like we're afraid of them, but also like transfixed by them, fascinated, like just can't really look away, that kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. So that's one answer. And then
a great choice.
Thank you. I also love the Xenomorph.
Nice. That's a popular one.
Yes. Huge fan of Xenomorphs. I think the Xenomorph for me was the first time we meet a monster who also has their own thing going on, their own backstory that's not just, I'm evil, I want to eat people.
I haven't seen it. So what's the thing? Like, is he going through a divorce?
No. So the Xenomorph is the monster in the Alien series, like the main monster.
No, I know that. Like the running gag for us is I've never seen it. So like this is the first time I'm hearing that the Xenomorph has their own thing going on, and I'm just like a softball league. What's going on? What are they doing?
No, she's a mom. She's the mother. She's the mom. Yeah. Like she's trying to just procreate and protect her babies and her line of ancestry. That's all I mean. Yeah. It's not like we have like cutaways to her chilling in her crib, like having friends over drinking wine.
Maybe that's in one of the sequels.
Maybe. I mean, I would watch that.
Yeah. That's just like their day-to-day domestic issues.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the Xenomorph for that reason. Also, yes, she's very scary. Xenomorphs are very scary. And and it's that thing where you watch it when you're young. The first time it's scary. You watch it. I've rewatched Alien lots and lots of times. And as I rewatched it and got older, I then appreciated like all the layers to the xenomorph and how cool that monster is. So yeah, I mean, both of mine are kind of sci-fi-y. But one that's not sci-fi, probably the rounding out the top three is the episode of Buffy that's silent called Hush.
Yeah, we've done that on the podcast too.
Ah, yeah. So those, I forget what they're called. The grim something, the fantasy dudes in that.
The gentleman, right?
The
That was
gentleman.
it.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, so scary. So scary. Oh my God. Doug Jones, masterful. And whoever the other two people are, masterful.
Yeah, no, we have a shrine to Doug Jones at our headquarters. Yeah, no, not really, but like we love him. We give him props whenever we can.
Doug Jones is almost always mentioned on the show at some point.
Oh yeah, of course. He's just like a pillar of the monster making community. But yeah, the gentleman from Hush, so scary, so great, so chilling. And also that episode overall is great because it was so kind of dissonant to everything else they were doing. And that was on purpose, purposely going in that very different direction from the talky, snarky, jokey thing that they always did. Yeah. So those are, I guess, my top three monsters.
Good choices.
Yeah, that's a good roster.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm almost like embarrassed to admit this, but I just by you saying that the blob and calling it gelatinous, it made this connection between the blob and like the gelatinous cube from Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
That's makes me rethink of the gelatinous cube a little bit differently too. I'm excited to
right?
encounter that in the campaign again.
Yeah, the gelatinous cube, if I always like imagine it with those clean edges and like very transparent, but the blob was like lumps.
Yeah, it's like gross.
So gross. It was really gross. Yeah. The gelatinous cube almost seems like a cleaner, friendlier version of the blob.
Kinda, yeah. A little more PG.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we ever do the blob on this, you'll have to come back on and talk about it with us.
Yeah, I'd love to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in a long time.
It'd be a fun one. And our other question for you is sort of like what's on your geek card? Like what are you most geeky about?
Definitely sci-fi, definitely Star Trek. I'm a big Trekkie. And I run a monthly Klingon tabletop RPG game called Blood of the Void. And it's Klingon based. So everyone in our party plays a Klingon. And it's been very fun to like specifically dive into Klingon culture and get to like create Klingon culture and lore and things like that with and for my players. So I love Klingons. I love Star Trek and all the like subcultures within Star Trek. So Vulcans, Klingons, what else?
Ferengi.
Or even like, I'm not really into Ferengi, to be honest. Ugh.
I know. I was kind of joking when I threw that one out.
No, it's okay. No, that's a totally valid thing to add to that list. But I'm just saying, I personally, I'm glad that I haven't been dragged by this by my Star Trek community, because I think I've publicly said this before, but whenever the Ferengi episodes come on of Deep Space Nine, I kind of tune out. And I love Armin Shimerman. Yeah. Like I love Quark. I like Quark episodes, but when it's like all the Ferengis, I just kind of get bored. I don't know, man.
I'm kind of with you. The Ferengi can, especially the early Ferengi episodes, are rough.
They can be pretty one note, even from the few episodes I've seen.
They're one note. That's how I would say it too. Yeah, it's always kind of the same thing.
Yeah, like they're doing something greedy or like kind of like pervy. Yeah,
or sexist, like talking about how their women shouldn't wear clothes and have money and it's just like, oh my God, I get it, dudes. I get it.
Spot on impression of the entire species.
But that said, one of the best episodes is House of Quark, because it's Quark in the Klingon world. So
yes, that is a really good one.
So good. Such a great episode.
Yes. Are you a fan of like pretty much all the Star Trek shows, or do you have like one that you love the most?
Yeah, I think my two that I love the most right now, TNG has my heart. That's the one I grew up with. I would watch that with my cousins and my brothers and sisters and dad. And so I love TNG. And then I think my next favorite is Discovery right now,
Yay.
As of like season 2, kind of like season 1 I enjoyed, but there were some things that I was like, okay, I see what they did there. I wasn't like a huge fan of the way some things
Mm-hmm.
happened. But I loved, going back to Klingons, I loved their deep dive into the Klingon subculture, not subcultures, even like the different Klingon cultures, and showing them visually and all the dedication they put into the language. And I know I'm like friends with the Klingon translator from the show, and I email her, and she's very lovely. And it's just like, I'm friends with Mary Chieffo, who played L'Rell. It's like the Star Trek Discovery Klingons. I just like, as a fan, I'm so grateful to have gotten to watch that and then get to meet the people who helped make that happen, because they're awesome people too. So
that's so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna mention that. I was like, it must be exciting for you to work with Mary Chieffo on Slay too.
Oh, goodness, yes. Mary Chieffo is a dream. I don't know if you've watched any of Slay yet, but if you watch the episode The Dudablion, that was case. I don't have episode numbers because I want people to be able to watch them completely out of order and it not matter.
That's
But
cool.
that was case number 738. It's called the Dudablion, or I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing it. The Dudablion.
I was going to correct you. I'm glad you caught yourself.
Thank you. So you did watch it, okay? Mary did an amazing job. I'm going to slightly spoil, but not entirely. So if people go back and watch it, Mary, her character encountered this. Well, they all encountered this very creepy, gambling-centric fae creature, and it actually ended up inhabiting her body during the show. And so she played as this creepy fae character, and it was brilliant. It was just so good.
I was talking to Joe about this before we recorded, and yeah, like I loved her character. I caught the possession part. That was super fun, and she just had a lot of fun with it. It was great to watch.
Yeah, like if you watch the transformation into and out of that character, she takes so much time and care to do that. It's just, it's so yummy. It's so good.
That's so cool. And there's 2 episodes currently, right? They've done.
Yeah, we did our 3rd show live on Friday. That goes up. What we're doing so far is we do our live show Fridays, and then for a few days you can only see the show if you're subscribed to our Twitch channel. Mm-hmm. But then on Tuesday nights we do a replay, and it's basically like the YouTube premiere of the live show from the weekend before. So this Tuesday night, if you didn't see our 3rd show, you can watch it live with us. Well, live, quote unquote, a live replay on YouTube.
Okay, and then the YouTube ones you can kind of watch. That's why we were watching some of the YouTube ones. I haven't seen the live Twitch shows yet, but I gotta mark those dates and do that next.
Yeah, and what's cool about the live shows is that yes, you can totally just watch us on YouTube, no problem, if you don't have Twitch or want to be on Twitch. But the thing is, our show is very like shaped by the audience. We have like a tip system where if people give us monetary tips of certain levels, they actually give us a tip in the world of the show. So it's like, oh, this agent donated to us and they gave us a tip that the monster has extra long gangly arms that have spoons at the ends of their fingers or whatever it is. And we have to incorporate that tip into the show. So
that's cool.
It's like the show is what it is because of the audience participation. And it's like, if you want to be a part of that and see it happening live and maybe even donate to like get something into the show of your own, then that's the reason, like a really good reason to watch it live.
So subscribe to the Twitch channel then, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
let's just dig into it. So for anyone who's not aware of Slay, from what I've gathered, it's a live streamed monster hunting monologue show, right? On Twitch by you guys, and you guys are part of I believe it was Ripley Improv. Is that right?
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so could you and you're the director of the show, correct?
Right. Yeah, I'm the director of this show. And Ripley Improv, we have done several shows at this point, and just a different person in the ensemble takes point as the director usually of the show. Sometimes we have co-directors as well.
Okay. And I did a little research into Ripley Improv too. It's an all-female improv collective and actually named for the alien character.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. We I'm trying to remember. We formed in 2016, and I think we came up with the name pretty quickly, considering how long those things can take to like name a group of people.
It's a great
And
name.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And at the time not everyone had even seen the movie, but we all were familiar with that character, and we all agreed like, yeah, that's the type of character we want to you know, we want to center those types of women, and also just the fact that she was groundbreaking, and we want to keep being groundbreaking in our own work and be inspired by that character.
So for anyone listening who maybe isn't aware of Slay very much, can you kind of break down like sort of like what someone could expect going into it?
Yeah, so when you watch the show, you're going to see what looks like the desktop of a government agent's computer. And it's the database that she uses to put together report logs so that she can then report to the agency, the department, it's called the Department of Occult Risk Management, to report to them what this monster is. If anyone is listening and they've watched any type of tabletop RPG show, this show takes a lot of influence from that. If you look at it visually, it definitely looks like that because we have all of our pictures and windows on the desktop, and then we can zoom into certain people when they're monologuing. But then also, there's a bit more of a tabletop RPG aspect in that we all have a common goal by the end of the show, which is that we're creating the monster live together. And I even went so far as to create, I had a designer create it's called the profile report. I made the most bureaucratic name on purpose, and now I can't remember. The profile summary report. And so this is the official sheet from the Department of Occult Risk Management that the profiler has to fill out at the end of the episode and log away so that we know, like, okay, this is the monster, this is the information that we have on them, and now it gets stored away for like future agents to know.
That's awesome.
It's a lot. It's like, it's not your typical improv show. There's a lot more going on.
Khalid and I's like experience, or like, I don't know, I guess limited knowledge on improv usually was in relation to like kind of comedy improv. So it was, I think both of us were talking before this about how it was kind of fun to watch this specifically because like how true to the characters you guys all stay, and how it is taken seriously and played like that. And just knowing that all that is being improvised is just, it feels like there's this kind of craft to it that's kind of really I guess kind of a marvel to watch in a sense. It's really fun.
Thank you. Yeah. We definitely approach it that way too. Like as a group, we have like, I don't know how many thousands of hours of improv under our belts. And then this specific type of improv, narrative improv, where you're like taking on a character and their wants and objectives, and not, it's not just about the comedic aspect and finding the funny or finding the interesting, the quirk. It's also about like weaving narrative together and really being storytellers together. We definitely approach it as a craft of its own, and we're all kind of hooked on this too. Like it's really fun and exciting and challenging and satisfying to do this type of improv.
It's got to be super fun too. Just like, I feel like in the same way that like comedic improv, like what's fun about that is being able to surprise your co-performers with like what comes of the back and forth. I think that there's an element of fun in a different way when you guys do it with your show, which I mean, can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, and in fact, if you watch the next episode that we're going to air on YouTube Tuesday, the one that we did live on Friday, we had Tom Lenk, the actor was on Buffy. He's been on a lot of stuff. He also is an amazing improviser and sketch artist. He does these like musical sketches on his social media that are very funny. But he was our guest this Friday. And I think his episode is a really good example of what you just said, because our show, even though we're not focused on the funny and the comedy and finding the quirk, there's still space for it in our show because it's improv. Just by nature of it being improv, that stuff is going to come up. And so with his with his improv style marrying with ours and joining our crew, it pops up, and there's some very fun moments where we surprise each other, where he's monologuing, and as the profiler I'm kind of like interviewing him and asking him questions, clarifying questions, and we just yes-anded each other into a very silly fun place. And so yeah, there's space for that as well, for that type of comedy improv as well.
Quick sidebar to this, and we'll get back on topic, but I was just remembering, and I looked this up. Khalid and I actually did go see an improv show so Khalid's in LA and I'm in Minnesota, but I visited him back in like 2019, I think it was spring. But we saw a narrative improv show, and it was the Improvised Generation, a Star Trek one, and you were in that, I think.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's crazy. You guys were all great.
Yeah, that was super fun. Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember when you saw it?
So I don't know if you were in the specific one we saw, but I just looked at your website, and you've done that before. But we were there March of 2019, I think. I think it was March. Yeah, March 2019.
Yeah. So I'm one of the directors and producers of that show.
Really?
Yeah, I co-created it. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, we loved it. I remember when I was planning the trip to go visit Khalid, I was like looking up just interesting things to do. And I was like, as a Star Trek fan, I was like, well, this is something I need to see. And it was so much fun.
I love that. Yay. I'm so glad. Yeah.
That's cool.
That show, I love doing that show. And yeah, that show also, was something that I did before Slay, but it, the work I did on that show informs the work I do in Slay. And so yeah, that show is very near and dear to my heart. We actually did, once the pandemic hit, we all took a few months to kind of figure life out. But then we did a 2-month run of the Improvised Generation on Twitch.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think we put it on YouTube. Did we put it on YouTube? I hope we put it on YouTube.
I hope so too.
I will link it in the podcast notes if I find it.
Great. Okay. I think we did. It was a while. It was only like 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you want to see that.
Highly recommend that as well, people. It was really great live. I'm sure it's awesome on YouTube/Twitch too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. That's a fun connection. I love that.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But anyway, back to Slay. So your character is sort of the profiler, and is that kind of the role that you take on, like as director, where you're kind of like leading the conversation a little bit and kind of the sort of through line of it? Is that would that be accurate to say?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's more like a GM than a director, which I guess that's kind of splitting hairs, to be honest, because in a lot of ways a GM is a director in a way. But for instance, I'm actually not going to be playing the profiler next week because I wanted other people in the ensemble to have the chance to do it. And I'm not the only one who has the skill set to do that. Like actually a lot of our cast could have stepped in as the profiler. But since it was my show and since we were like launching it, I wanted to establish that character and figure out the ins and outs of how to help craft this show from the inside. And I am a GM, a professional game master. I have friends in the show who are also very prolific game masters. And so I wanted them to get a shot at bat as the profiler. So yeah, it's not like completely tied to my role as the director, but me taking that role was kind of a way for me to create that role and figure out the nuts and bolts of how it works so that I can then teach everyone else how to do it.
Will you be playing the same character then?
No, okay, a slight spoiler for this episode we're airing on YouTube on Tuesday. My character gets in trouble and it just happened organically in the improv. But what wasn't organic was that I already wasn't scheduled to play the profiler next week. So it actually just made sense. It was like, oh, this is why I'm not going to be playing the profiler next week because she got in trouble. She messed up and she got in trouble.
Okay.
But instead, I will still be in the cast next week, but I'm going to be playing a different character.
Okay. And I think so. Feel better about the spoilers. I think this episode will probably come out after that comes out, so we're a little bit safe in that regard.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm intrigued by about the show too is like how you guys are sort of like creating the monster as you go, like building upon it. Did you have, and this is like way far in advance, so maybe you have no idea, but did you have any plans to like as you build it, or like once you kind of come to that head at the end of the series, to like have, I don't know, some like artist rendition of it or something, or like this is what it looks like?
Yes. Yeah. That's
Oh, that is
definitely
a
been
plan.
on my
Okay.
Well, it's an idea, it's a thought that we've been tossing around and wanting to do. I don't want to overpromise something, but there is a possible thing that might be happening where we would get an illustrator to come to the show live and do that exact thing. As we're improvising the monster, they're drawing it as we create it. Because it's the first season of the show, honestly, it was just a lot to put together. So adding the live artist, I hope it happens in June, but if it does happen, it will be like later in the run. But yeah, otherwise, the ones that we already have done, that's another reason why I created that profile sheet, because I wanted to like share the information with people and like put it on Twitter. And if someone sees it and is inspired, they could just draw that character. We already have had actually someone draw the Dudablia, that character.
How did it turn out?
It was great. I loved it. I loved their vision of it. And the cool thing is, like, I can see other people drawing it differently, and there are a lot of different interpretations that can happen from these monsters that we're creating. And I think they're all valid. They're all, I'm excited to see more art of the monsters that we create. And maybe we just have to like commission it. One way or another, we'll get there.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get some submissions.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
Yeah, people love doing fan art.
Yeah.
I love that, how you guys are kind of like building a mythology throughout it. That's kind of fun. And you also said, so you said first season, you guys have plans to continue this?
Yeah, I would like to bring it back. And with Ripley, we tend to bring our shows back in some way or another. Like we've done, we do improv festival performances of old shows that we first started out with. Like another genre we do is called YA dystopia. We just call it dystopia, but it's really young adult dystopia specifically. We just did a performance at the Baton Rouge Improv Festival digitally, or like a remote performance. And another show, Heartbeats, we're doing some remote improv festival things with them, and even Slay is going to be in a couple of festivals this summer. And then yes, we do bring them back for second seasons. I don't know if we've done a third season of any of our shows yet, but we definitely bring them back. And also now we have new ensemble members who weren't in those earlier shows, and we want to see them in those shows. So we're definitely going to bring some stuff back, and that includes Slay.
Exciting.
So for the YA dystopia, you guys like play the teens in it, like the heartthrob teens?
Yes, it's so fun. Yes.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm picturing it. That sounds so funny.
It's really fun. It's very fun. I think my favorite. So at the Baton Rouge Improv Festival, I wasn't in that show, but I watched it. And then they did a Q&A after with the Baton Rouge people, like on site in a theater. And the guy, Brett, who is, he's a friend of ours through Improv, he was running the Q&A, and he gave like what I so far is my favorite feedback I've heard about our dystopia show, which was that he was like, or maybe he might have been passing this along from an audience member, or someone said this through him. But he was like, when I heard that you were doing YA dystopia, I thought it was just going to be silly. And I was getting ready to like, for you to parody that genre and make fun of it. And he was like looking forward to it. And then he was like, and then by the end I was crying and I didn't understand why. And he was like, it was so heartfelt, but also really funny. And you still kind of skewer the genre and parody it, but it's like heartfelt, like you're invested. And he was like, it was just such a great ride to go on. And that's how it feels inside the show too. It feels like, yes, we're playing up these very tropey, emotional teens. And there's always like some, oh my God, my favorite character is to play like the hunky dude who's like, just like on the other part of the other factions or something. Or he's like the leader of the resistance and he's just super hot and just like, all the tropes are so fun, but then we also dive down into the emotional truth of those characters. So it's really fun. It's directed by Amanda Troop, my lovely good friend, and it was our first genre that we ever did together.
Cool. So it's like you're making fun of it, but from a place of love, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds like fun. Did you was there any specific like I don't know, like monster shows or things that you're a fan of that kind of inspired you when you're kind of coming up with Slay?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the show idea, I had the idea for a Slayer show like 3-4 years ago. And I just was always kind of too busy to take it on myself. So I kind of pitched it to the Ripleys all those years ago. And I was like, I have this idea. I don't know when I want to do it, but it's just on my mind. They're like, okay, cool. And it was going to be specifically vampire slayers. It was going to be more on the nose, like a step aside from like a beta version of the Buffy verse.
Like a pastiche.
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know. I never know how to use that word.
I really just like rolled with it.
You sound very fancy using it.
I'm looking it up right now, but yeah, you can go on. Oh yeah, an artistic work in a style that imitates that of another work. I was right.
Hey, you nailed it. Now I know what that word means. Yeah,
there you go.
So yes, it was going to be a pastiche of the Buffyverse. Now I feel fancy. Nice. So that was the original idea, and the core of it still remains. So the core of that idea was that I wanted to see, if you're, I don't know how deep into Buffy you are or how people listening to this will be, but if you've read the Buffy comics that continue the story after the show ended, season 8 and beyond, now all the Slayers have been activated in the world, and there's all these different stories of young people, mostly women, and I'm imagining also like and non-binary people and maybe young men. I don't know, but mostly women and non-binary people and genderqueer people probably, who are now activated vampire slayers. It's not just one with a bunch of potentials around the world. So I love that idea, and I wanted to explore it from my own angle, which was, let's just zoom in on the everyday lives of these other slayers, these new slayers, the 35-year-old housewife who is like a socialite and drinks a lot of wine and then gets called to be a slayer. I want to see her story.
I'd watch that. That sounds awesome.
I've been watching a lot of Real Housewives lately, so that's on my mind.
Right, what you know.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the 50-year-old woman who is, she's a truck driver and she is activated as a slayer. I wanted to see I wanted to see like the trans girl teen who just is figuring out and coming out and also is now activated as a slayer. Like I want to see those stories and follow those stories specifically. And this was before the pandemic that this core idea came. And so I was thinking it would still be a monologue show, but obviously there would be staging because we would be doing it on stage. And I didn't get very far into that version of the idea because I just kind of set it aside and I was busy with other things. And then the year before the pandemic hit, I was starting to like put together some ideas. And that's when I was like, honestly, I think part of it was because of all the Joss Whedon stuff that came out.
Right.
Which has been difficult as a fan to kind of like come to terms with that. So that was on my mind. But then also my experience with the Improvised Generation, which is like, we're a Star Trek show. We are a pastiche of Star Trek. And we can't sell the show. Like we can't make money off the show. we have to be very careful even with our branding and our logos, and we've had to find all the music and backgrounds and have it be originally created from scratch and never use anything from the show, god forbid, because we could get sued like to the moon.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I don't
Paramount
think.
is litigious. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, we've been around for 5 years, 6 years now. We have friends who have worked on Star Trek shows. We had the whole freaking writers room, or not the whole, half the writers room of Discovery come to the show that Mary guested in when we were on stage. So they know we exist, and they have not sued us, but we never want to push that button. We're not
Right.
trying to get sued, so we're never going to like try to sell our show. But here's the thing, we are artists, we are creatives, we're professionals, and it kind of sucks for us that we've created this lovely show, and we would keep doing it forever, but we also do need to support ourselves. So Slay became what it is because I was like, you know what? I actually don't want to put it in that same place that the improvised generation is now in, where we can never sell it and own. We can't like fully own the show. So I was like, let's just step away from the Buffyverse. It's inspired by that for sure, but then I just decided to create like our own world for Slay and the Department of Occult Risk Management, um and these specific characters and their relationship to the organization is unique. I think the closest, another inspiration, by the way, is the BPRD, the Bureau of Paranormal Defense and Research in Hellboy, because that is a secret government organization that employs monster hunters. And so that's one of the closest things to what our show is doing. But I think ours is unique because our monster hunters are specifically like contractors. Like they're not like the BPRD. It feels like Hellboy lives on the grounds. They like put them up. They house them. They're full-time employees, but we're like the contract. We're like the 1099 version of that.
Yeah, you got to turn in your W-9 with like your demon scalps.
Exactly. And these ladies, like one of our characters is a school teacher. So she teaches during the day and she monster hunts by night. And that's what I wanted. I wanted people who are people and they have full lives, and yet they're also our monster hunters. So they're multitasking with their monster hunting.
That's really awesome. Yeah, they're like just punching a clock.
Exactly. And another there were a lot of other inspirations. So obviously like Hellboy, BPRD, Buffy, those are probably the top two. And then Angel, as a subsidiary of Buffy.
Of course.
And the monsters that were on Angel, because Buffy was like lots of vampires and then monsters, lots of monsters as well. Angel was mostly monsters, mostly demons as well. So we looked to Angel for what types of monsters and how they were discovered. Like Angel is a detective show too, and what we're doing is kind of like a reverse detective thing because we're creating it. Our discovery, quote unquote, is literally just us making it up on the spot. So we kind of we also watched Supernatural to see how that another, supernatural detective show, how do they uncover each piece of information about the demon? Like how often, what's the pacing of that? So we kind of looked at that for inspiration of how to pace our show. And then there's stuff like the anime Demon Slayer and looking at the interpersonal intricacies of these slayers who, this isn't a spoiler. It happens in the first episode of Demon Slayer, but his sister gets turned into a vampire. And he has to protect her, and she's trying to kill people, and he has to make sure she doesn't, because it's on him if she does. And so it's like those types of intricacies. We wanted to find those in our characters through the improv. Some other inspirations, Abbott, which is another detective story. This one Black woman, 70s setting, street detective, journalist actually, but she kind of becomes like an investigative occult researcher because of her own personal entanglements with the occult that just finds her. She gets pulled into it. Another one, sorry, I can keep going. I'll just give you one more. What did I say? I said Abbott. Oh, Bitterroot. Bitterroot is another one.
I saw that one too. I saw that one on the website. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and that's like a family Harlem Renaissance era. I think actually I forget what exact year it takes place in the beginning, but yeah, it's like this family, an ancient line of hunters. I wanted my cast to think of that stuff. Like, are you of an ancient line of demon hunters or monster slayers or whatever it is? Like, so that's the kind of stuff we're playing, and that's what we're trying to create for ourselves.
It's a great list, by the way, for like monster fans.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I love it. And
Yeah.
I wish I could have brought in more people. Were like, oh, have you watched this? I was like, oh my God, I want to. Maybe for our second season, we'll have a whole new like homework list because there's so much good stuff out there, you know?
I was just going to ask that. Did for all the people who are the players in it, did you say like, this is kind of your homework? Like, take a look at each one of these pieces.
Yeah. If you ask my cast, they'll be like, oh my God, Aliza was so organized. They've said this to me many times. They're like, oh my God, you're so organized. I had a whole curriculum, y'all. I made a curriculum for this show. I have an extensive Google Docs folder system for Slay that has our research. So like our reading and watch list, the research that my cast also did. I had them go and do research on a specific topic of their own and then present it to the group. I had we had weekly rehearsals for 2 months, and I had a curriculum. I had a plan for each one. And yeah, so yeah, yes.
So that's really interesting, actually. I was going to ask about how, especially because it's like so improv heavy, like there has to be, is there like still a general framework that you guys work under when you're performing? Or like, is it just you send out like a rough idea of the episode and then you just jump into it?
Yeah, no, we don't have a rough idea of the episode before we do it. I guess the only thing that we go in knowing is like the very beginning and the very end. That's all we know. So, and the show, that's the profiler basically. So the profiler opens the show with a little short monologue. And actually the first 2 shows, I barely even said anything. I was like, okay, I'm going to start the show now. Like basically just, I wanted to open the show. And it's like, oh, this is profiler Milagros Kendall. And I say my agent number, case number. Oh, and then the profiler also, the location and an object are the suggestions that we get from the chat. So our moderator gets that from the chat, passes it to our stage manager, who then puts it in our Zoom chat. And so the beginning of the show with the profiler, the purpose is for me to communicate what the suggestion is that we chose to the audience. So they know, oh, okay, they chose my suggestion or whatever it is. So we start the show. Profiler says, hello, I'm agent blah, 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 starting my logs, starting my report. Here's the 2 suggestions we chose, audience. And then we go to the agents and their monologues. And that's, I mean, there's no form, there's no plan in how to tell this story. We all are very well versed in like 3-act structure and just general storytelling, you know, like standard formats for how to create stories, like scripted stories. So I think we naturally kind of come to that. We also all are trained in like escalating things. Like we can feel when something needs to happen. Like when a big conflict is about to happen, we know to put gas on the fire. And so that kind of stuff, I think that's why people sometimes think we're scripted or we have like an outline of a show, but it's not. It's just because we just learn how to pick up those cues from each other of when to slow things down or speed things up. And then the very end of the show is also like, I'm profiler Milagros Kendall. Here's a summary of what we figured out about the monster. Thank you to our donors, you know, in world. I'll be like, thank you to these agents. And then we close the show. But that's it. That's the only structure we have, the beginning and the end.
You were talking about doing rehearsals before the season began. What was that like? Is it just like you just did some like dry run, like this could be how the episode goes kind of a thing?
Well, we actually worked up to that. Yes, we did do that, but not until like a couple of weeks before the show. So every week, I knew that not everyone in the cast was super into the monster hunting genre already, or even horror. Some people were super into horror. Some people were like Buffy fans, but you know, just to get everyone kind of in the same brain space, like I said, I shared the reading list, the watch list to them. They went and watched Hellboy and Buffy episodes that I picked out and Supernatural episodes. We talked about them in our Slack between rehearsals, like people would be like, oh, I watched that Supernatural episode with the changelings and blah, blah, blah. And so we would just kind of like communicate about the episodes that way. And then in the early stages of rehearsal, it's more, for me, it was about like getting people ready to do monologues and getting people ready to like create a monster together through improv, because that's hard. It's actually, this is kind of a hard show. I got to give my cast props because I'm asking a lot of them. I'm probably asking too much of them for an improv show. But they're handling it amazingly because what I'm asking them to do is really hard. It's like, don't give too much information. Don't give too little information. Don't like add too much at this time or blah, blah, blah. Make sure you get this out before this happened. Like I give notes to kind of help shape how we tell the story. And they've been taking them beautifully. I don't even know. What was your question?
I was asking about rehearsals, but that's really fascinating though. Cause like, yeah, like they have to basically come up with like an hour-long episode in real time. That is not easy.
It's not easy. Yeah. And I know pacing, I think earlier on in the rehearsal process, my concern was like, I want them to know that they can breathe. Like you don't have to spend an hour constantly talking. It's okay to have a moment, like as your character, when you're giving your log, just maybe you just you're like, oh God, I need a sip of water before I tell this next part. Like, I wanted to let them be human and not just be like monologue robots because it's a monologue show. And I think also those types of like pieces of humanity are what the audience latches onto. Like when we can see the characters actually living and breathing in front of us, that's what we want. We don't need someone to spew out monster facts. Like that's not actually what's going to keep people watching our show. So,
no, you're definitely right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. How much like the fact that this is like a digital or virtual show, like how much does that factor into it? Like I'm guessing you're probably planning for it to be a virtual show, but like how different is it from like if you were to be doing this on stage?
Yeah, that's a great question. And let me think through that. I think if this show had been on stage, the agents would have been interacting directly with each other more or at all. Because right now, the big rule that I have in the show is that I want everyone to treat it like you're in a room being interviewed and giving your report log, and you're not talking to the other agents. So everything you're telling the story with the other agents, but not talking to them. I think that's the hardest thing that I'm asking my agents to do. And that I don't think that would have existed if this was a stage show. I'm not sure I would have wanted to keep that as tightly as I do. And I think it's because I went so hard into the direction of it being a digital show, and it's on, we're doing it on Twitch, we're on Zoom with each other. And it's like, we are in our separate rooms. Like we literally are, just like the characters are. So yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that would be the biggest difference.
Were there a lot of like digital improv shows before this, or was this kind of like a pandemic thing that you guys like kind of got you to be like a little more creative with the way you would deliver an improv show? Was this kind of a newer format for you all to take on?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I said before, I have a tabletop RPG background as a player, as a game master, and some other people in Ripley do, and a lot of my other people and friends that I perform with, it was through TTRPGs. So I think for those of us who have been doing TTRPGs on Twitch for years before the pandemic hit, we were primed to do this. Like we already had all the tools kind of already, because we've been doing improvised storytelling. It's just with dice rolls. So doing an improv show over Twitch is not that different. It's different, but it's not. So in addition to us diving into creating these shows on Twitch now, instead of on stage, a lot of other improvisers and theaters have been doing it as well. So yes, I would say it's definitely a feature of the pandemic.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking to that too. You're saying like your background as like a game master would probably help you build a foundation for how this whole thing could look too. That's seems like a little leg up you had there, but that's cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it definitely tabletop RPGs definitely inspired how this show looks and feels and operates even.
So kind of a sidebar there, but like what tabletop games do you play or do you like run?
Yeah, so I have the monthly Klingon game. That's Star Trek Adventures. And it's the 2D20 system.
Okay.
And what else do I play? I run private games, just like a smattering of games. I've run Buffy games. I have an ongoing Buffy campaign that's about to start back up. I'm about to start a D&D stream actually. Yeah, that hasn't been announced yet, but if you follow me, I will announce it when I can.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. A little scoop. Overlight. I run Overlight. I just did a private Overlight game a couple weeks ago. I want to do a Hellboy one shot, and the Hellboy TTRPG system is actually 5e. So someone created a Hellboy setting for Dungeons and Dragons 5e.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, ooh, so I don't have
That's
to learn a
cool.
new system to run Hellboy. I'm in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
then
awesome.
and I've played a lot more too. Like I guess that's like 5 systems that I've run more than that because I've run one shots like Dungeon World. Goodness, I don't even know. I've lost count. Oh, some cat RPG, one page RPG that was very adorable and fun. Oh, Lasers and Feelings. I've run a lot of systems now, and I've played like a handful more systems than I've run. Goodness gracious. Fate is one that I've played, but I haven't run. Did I? Oh yeah, the Alien RPG. Goodness, yeah, a lot. That's some.
That's impressive I mean, there's a lot of different game mechanics in there, but I guess maybe once you start to play a bunch, you start to see patterns. Maybe that helps a little bit.
I thought that after I learned my second system, I would just get confused, but that hasn't been the case somehow.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I thought it would be confusing rules, but it's like a language. It's like once you click into a different language, you're in that language and you're like, nope, that's the system for that. That's how you do initiative. That's how you do combat. And then the cool thing is if a system doesn't have a mechanic for it, like, so for instance, I won't say which system it is because I don't want to shade them, but one of the systems that I get hired to run privately doesn't have a way for characters to assist each other. And so, because of other systems that I've played that have assisting mechanics, we kind of just homebrewed our own way that, like, okay, if you do this, you can assist this character, and this is how you do it. So that's the nice thing about like being fluent in a lot of different systems, because then you can learn how to even homebrew other ones to do what you want. Oh, and I guess if it's not obvious, Dungeons and Dragons 5e, that's one of the ones that I run and play.
Yeah. I'm I would say relatively, in a sense, new to the RPG world. My wife and I started playing D&D with a bunch of our friends, I'd say like 2 years ago, and we've been playing the same campaign. We were doing once a month for a while, but now we're doing or every other Monday. So we're actually playing tomorrow night. But that's been really fun. And we were playing in person for a while. Now we're playing on Roll20. But I've also started playing Gloomhaven, which is a little different style, and that's kind of fun too. It's a little bit less RPG. I mean, it's RPG, but it's a little bit more guided for you throughout the game. But it's still kind of a fun adventure thing. If you ever played that, I enjoyed that.
Ooh, I'll have to check that out. That sounds cool.
Yeah. It's you have to order it. It's like a 30-pound box that they send to you. And
Whoa.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, have you heard of Monster Hearts?
I've not heard of Monster Hearts.
So I haven't played it yet, but I have Monster Hearts 2, a copy of it, because we actually have a bit of a partnership with Avery Alder. I've never actually said her name out loud. You know how like you email people and you never say their name out loud?
Oh, always, yeah.
Right. But yeah, Avery Alder was the game designer for Monster Hearts and Monster Hearts 2. And I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I have this monster hunting show. I love TTRPGs. Can we partner in some way? And she was like, yeah, sure. You can do a giveaway of Monster Hearts 2, a digital PDF copy of the game for every show you do. And I was like, yay, thank you. So we're doing that for our shows.
Awesome.
We're giving
That's
away
awesome.
one digital PDF copy of Monster Hearts 2. I haven't dived into the game yet, but I want to. And basically, the setting of Monster Hearts 2 is that you're teenage monsters and you're figuring out how to be a monster. And it sounds so fun. And I really want to play that game. Play it, run it, both, either, whatever. Oh, I forgot. One of the systems I do is Cortex RPG. I can't believe I didn't say that first because that actually is one of my jobs, like as a professional gaming person. But I do a weekly stream with them called Roll and Keep. We rotate the GM seat and we do different settings, but they're all using the Cortex RPG system. So yeah, Cortex RPG.
Fascinating. Yeah. I'm looking at Monster Hearts right now. That seems super fun.
Yes, check it out. Yeah, I'm super excited. Hey, if I ever run it, will you come be at my table, both of you, digitally?
Oh, yeah. You let us know. I will. Yeah, that'd be super fun. I've not done many other RPGs, so I would love to try it out.
Oh my goodness, that would be so fun. Okay,
you keep us in the loop then.
Yeah, I personally don't have much experience with RPGs, but I'm always willing to look foolish learning.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I only started in 2017. Like,
oh wow,
and now I do it full time.
Down the rabbit hole far on that one. That amount of time.
Oh yeah, I really did. Yeah, and also because my first, I had played like D&D like a couple of times before 2017, and then in 2017 I got hired to be on a show as a player, a show called Shield of Tomorrow, and it was a Star Trek Adventures live play game on Geek and Sundry's channel. And that was what got me in, because it was a weekly game. It was a job, but it was like my family for a year. We played for a year every week. We literally became a family. Like, those are some of my closest friends now still. And we still game together. We are at each other's tables. And yeah, and a lot of us are still also professionally doing TTRPGs. So that's how I got sucked in. I just got kind of thrown into the deep end of TTRPGs by being on a live stream show.
Awesome. Your job sounds great. Like, you just got to do a bunch of fun stuff, RPGs and improvised monster hunting.
I'm very, very happy and fortunate that my day job is TTRPGs while I audition for TV and film and commercials. I feel very happy, very happy. I hope people find this too, whatever this is for them, doing a fun day job while also pursuing their bigger career goals.
Yeah. I suppose we should probably bring it to a wrap up here. We're getting close on that hour mark. Is there anything else you wanted to say about like Slay or anything else in general about work that you got coming up that you wanted to give a shout out to?
I would say tune in to Slay through June, because we have some special guests. I'm not announcing them till the week of, just in case schedules change, but we have 2 really big guests that you definitely want to watch. I won't say who they are, but you want to watch them.
Well, exciting.
Yeah.
We'll definitely put links in our thing too, so people can find it. Great. Khalid, should we do like a quick what the fandom before we go?
Yeah, let's do a what the fandom.
So, Aliza, our final segment of the show is as Khalid says, what the fandom. It's this thing where we just kind of go around and share like just something that we are currently into or watching or reading that kind of doesn't have anything to do with the topic that we're discussing. Just sort of like, hey, this is another thing that we're digging at the moment. So, if you want to take a moment to think, we usually try to come prepared. So we'll go first, and I'll circle back to you if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Khalid, what the fandom with you today?
What the fandom with me today, Joe, is the new Peacock show, Girls 5 Ever. It's this new show that's like by a lot of the same people from the 30 Rock team. I think Robert Carlock is the showrunner this time, but Tina Fey pops her head into. And yeah, it's a hilarious show. If you like 30 Rock, if you liked Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, or even the Saved by the Bell reboot that they made, it's very much of a piece with those, where it's just like a joke. Like the jokes per minute ratio is unfathomable. Sarah Bareilles is the lead of it. The show is about these like girl group that's supposed to be kind of like the Spice Girls, and just like any of those like boy or girl bands back in the late 90s, early 2000s that eventually kind of it fell into obscurity, and then we meet up with them when they're in their 40s and how they're trying to put the pieces back together in their lives and hopefully reunite and make something of it. So yeah, I really really recommend it. Super funny, a lot of cool characters, and yeah, honestly, just give Peacock a shot, guys. Like I was very quick to try and like rag on it just because I love to rag on like the new streamers. Looking at you, Quibi. But honestly, like they got a great catalog, and like NBC, even though they tend to prematurely cancel really good comedies, also have a really good track record with comedies. So there's something there for everybody.
Nice. I will have to check that one out. I saw a trailer for that. It looks pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. They do that because it's like so it's supposed to be like what is it? Girls for Forever or whatever. So they do the number thing a bunch. Like even in the theme song, at the very end of it, they're like, "So what are you waiting? 5." I never skip the theme song. Like you get the skip intro option. I never skip it. I just need to hear that. It's one joke, and it just hits me every time.
That sounds
good. Oh my god. Is Joe next?
I am next. Yes, I am. Okay, so here's my thing. My what the fandom today. I'm gonna shout out. I just watched a movie last night. Part of the Minneapolis St. Paul International Film Festival. It's like a little film fest that we have up here, but it's all virtual this year. So I was able to buy a ticket and watch movies at home, which was kind of nice. But I just watched one from Angola called Air Conditioner. And I think I was texting Khalid about this last night, but it's a odd little film, basically about a world. It's in Luanda in Angola, where air conditioners inexplicably fall from the sky and just fall out of windows, and it's just like this like epidemic in the city. And while this is going on, the main character has to go find an air conditioner for his boss and not get hit by air conditioners, because people are either getting injured or killed by air conditioners falling out just for some reason, because they're basically rebelling against humanity in a sense. And there's also just like this weird magical realism element where he just has some random telepathy here and there. And there's like a mad scientist kind of piece to it. And it just surprised me because the premise is wacky, but I wasn't sure like how what it was going to be like. It's just incredibly dreamlike. And it feels like you're kind of sleepwalking through it. There's this really cool, smooth jazz soundtrack that goes with it. And the lighting is really interesting. Very little dialogue, but when it's there, it's intentional. And it's just a kind of a cool picture of, I don't know much about Angola as a country. So I learned more just kind of watching this and researching a bit about it. And the city is like kind of just as much a character as the protagonist, which is, I always like that in movies when it's like the setting is an important part. So when what you're watching is like just important as what you're hearing. But I don't know. I guess I don't know where to find it at this point. But if you can find it somewhere, maybe at other film festivals or streaming somewhere, maybe it's offered a download. But it's called Air Conditioner, and it's directed by Fredique. That was a one name. I don't know who that is, but that's who directed it. I'll link to it. But it's a cool movie. I was really impressed with it. So that's my what the fandom for this week.
Nice.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm into it. So what about you, Aliza? What's your what the fandom, or what the fandom with you, as we say?
Well, yeah, so I also have been diving into Peacock. I haven't watched Girls 5 Ever yet, but I just finished Rutherford Falls.
Nice.
Ooh, just started that one.
I finished that one last week. It's really good.
Yeah, it's so good. It I don't even know how to describe how I feel watching a show that has so many native actors in it at the center of the story. It feels like, oh man, it's like a tall glass of water. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, it's just like all these hokey things that I want to say about it, how it feels to watch this show, but it feels good. It's also really funny. It's really good. It's layered. What they're saying, the story that they're telling about history and competing narratives of history. There are so many really clever lines in the show that feel like the thesis statement, but don't feel like they're bludgeoning you over the head with it. They're just so cleverly played and lightly put in there. There's actually towards the, sorry, well, it's not, it's an out of context spoiler about a line
okay.
that one character says that's like, hey buddy, you're every version, every narrative of your family history is bullshit. And that I was like, oh shit, oh my God, that's like the thesis of this show. Like, so good, so good. Michael Grey Eyes is a hottie. Janice Schmiedling is a hottie. Like, oh my God, I love
Is
them.
Michael Grey Eyes the casino manager?
Yes, he's so hot. He's so
oh
good.
yeah, he a whole snack. He a whole snack. I'll co-sign.
Man, he's a snack. Like, he's so hot, and he's also just a great actor. Like, that character's so layered. You love him, but you also kind of hate him because he's kind of like he's conflicted, and he's a shit starter. Like, but he's also doing it for the right reasons usually, and then it's just like so good. It's so complex. I love it. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
I might even just rewatch it right away, which I don't always do for shows. Like, I might rewatch Rutherford Falls immediately again because I enjoyed it so much. That's my What the Fandom. And then I will give shout outs to the fact that I'm doing a full watch through for the first time of Real Housewives of Atlanta. My brain is a little bit addled by it, but I was worried that I would like start to act like them, like, because watching so many hours of a show of people acting weird, sometimes, I don't know, like, does your brain do that? Yeah. So I was worried that I would like start being mean to people, but I don't think I have been. So I think I'm okay.
That happened to me with The Sopranos. I ate a lot of deli meat after. Just a lot of loose slices of deli meat.
I'm from New Jersey, so I appreciate that on another level. My brain got addled by Breaking Bad. When I watched that show for the first time, I binge watched the first like 3 or 4 seasons and then started watching it as it came out. But when I binge watched those first few seasons, I was super paranoid. It changed my brain. I was very paranoid about just like being out in the world. I was like, what's going on? What's that car doing? Like,
every other person's probably a meth dealer. You're not wrong.
It's true. But yeah, I think that's my What the Fandom.
Good ones. I mentioned I just started Rutherford Falls, and I'm really excited to keep going with it. But the high praise I keep hearing is telling. I'm liking it so far.
Yes.
Before we close out, is there anything like any place people can go find you, socials or anything like that?
Yeah, I think my main best way to find me and what I'm doing is follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter is at Aliza Pearl, Aliza Pearl, and the same thing on Instagram. I have a Twitch, and I very sporadically stream on it. I'm not sure I'll ever commit to a regular streaming schedule, and I might be okay with that. I think I might be okay with that. But my personal Twitch is Apiza Liza, Apiza Liza. So you can follow me there. You can also follow Ripley Improv because Slay is on there, but also we do lots of stuff there. And so if you follow us and subscribe to us, you will support our theater making efforts on the internet and doing weird, fun improv shows.
Awesome. And what days does Slay debut or premiere or whatever you drop?
The live shows are Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific on our Twitch channel. On Tuesday nights, we do our YouTube premiere / replay of the episode at 9 p.m. Pacific.
All right. Cool. Well, definitely go check out Slay if you haven't. Everybody who's listening, I will definitely be watching. I know Khalid will. We'll check it out and keep following along with it. Really want to thank you for coming on the show. It was a blast to talk to you. It was a pleasure. we kind of talk about corners of pop culture a lot and like different things we touch on this show. Like, but we often talk about movies and shows a lot, books occasionally. But this is our first like improv show, and I feel like it's like we're truly living up to the corners of pop culture phrase that I coined once.
Yeah, you're keeping this diversified.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for bringing me on here to talk about the show, because it's, we are a weird little corner of improv and Twitch, and everything we do is very niche, like every layer of it. And it's hard to get people to like see what we do and appreciate it. So thank you so much for finding me. I didn't even have to find you. You found me.
You did,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, this was fun. And seriously, the invitation is open if you ever want to come back on and just chat about the Blob with us or something, or other monster movies or anything you like. I'd love to have you back.
I would love to. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Khalid, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to another awesome episode. Aliza, thank you so much. It's been really awesome hearing about Slay and just all of your awesome I keep saying the word awesome. I know other words, I promise. Remember, I'm the one that brought pastiche to the table, guys.
Yes.
Anyways, Aliza, thank you so much. It's been so cool talking with you. Guys, Joe, what do we have for our next episode? Do we have anything lined up, or are we going to...
I believe we're going to be doing Psycho Gorman next.
Woo! Psycho Gorman! Yeah, I am hype about that one. That's going to be dope. So stay tuned for that episode. But thank you for listening. And until next time, y'all, creep it easy.